Welcome to Grimm's. I'm Grimm. Thank you so much for joining us for episode. Look at the title of the video on YouTube.
Hey!
That's right.
Yeah, we are back at it again, and we're going to go back around just to make sure that you remember what all of these
Make sure we
faces
remember
are.
what we're doing.
We have Mr.
Mark, and I will be playing as Andovarius,
Nice.
the kind of dark elf in this world.
Yes, the equivalent.
Spore druid.
Mm-hmm. Miss.
I'm Lisa, and I will be playing Zarelia the Bard.
Mm-hmm. Mr.
I'm going to be the guy named Sin Stalker. It does not sound like
Nobody
this.
sounds like it all.
Sounds like this.
He's a big guitar with his horns, and he's Boros and kick-ass and cool and dark and dangerous.
Yeah, yes.
And last but not least, Miss.
Saren. And I'm going to be playing Tink Tulula Tinkerton, which is the lovely little Izzet engineer.
Awesome.
/ magic crazy warrior.
We have our players, their player characters. Now all we need is a little bit of a recap.
And DM, who are you?
I'm Calvin, but
Yes.
I play as Grimm.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Hi, Grimm.
Yay! Yay! All right. Now, Grimm's going to get into a little bit of a recap, but I think last episode doesn't have too much ground to cover because it ultimately comes down to you guys being in the pit, ready to fight with a Sire of Insanity. That's what it is.
I remembered it was
Gate opens, instant hallucinations start breaking out to all the people's... What?
Well, go
Oh,
ahead.
I was like, are you not following? But yeah, so a Sire of Insanity comes out, does what's written on the label, and drives a bunch of you guys a little bit crazy. You guys are fighting it, each other, random things. Some of you are hurt, others are not. Ultimately, the Sire is defeated in a very spectacularly gratifying and gory fashion.
We did.
Yes, you did it. However, the Sire of Insanity was only part one of the deal that you struck with Hewitt. In order to prove to him that you were even capable enough to be worthy of him accepting your challenge in the first place, you had to beat both
him,
the Sire and a Dread
He's
Slag.
a chump and he wanted us weakened. Oh, I know.
Loser!
Oh, I know.
Yes, and that Dread Slag has actually been brought to the other side of the cage, with you guys still being in the center of the Blood Crypt pit. Now, the handler opened the little vial. It kind of flashed in these, random... You just get these strange, comical glimpses of these different shapes and things, kind of, shocking the guy's vision, and... Every shock just kind of drained him of his life force, and it kind of grew bigger, and now that it's outside of its magically contained little vial, you can see it kind of pushing out. It doesn't seem to actually survive off of any kind of physical nutrients or any food. It doesn't obey actual physical laws. It is pure mana. It is keyed into this locus of red and black energy that is at the center of the dungeon palace of Rixmati. So this thing is just growing while you guys are sitting there looking at it get bigger and bigger on the other side of the bars. What would you guys like to do in the aftermath of your fight against the
I'm
Sire?
gonna look around and see how these guys are doing. Any of you guys seriously wounded or anything?
I look pretty
Does anybody
amazing.
need any kind of...
I could use some help there.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
please.
wounded?
This is the one where I freaked
need,
out,
like,
just
5.
lost it on the guy.
Pardon?
I went
So
all cards
if
on
you've
the
got a
table.
healing potion,
Yeah?
I'd probably take that rather than actually... Because I need to heal for 5.
You just need 5? Let's see what I can do.
And I think
real
it's
quick.
important to mention, though, for the recap, I kicked a bunch of ass when everyone else went down. And that's where we ended.
Alright, would I have the time to cast 2 healing words on these two?
Yes, you would.
Okay.
While he's doing that,
I'm going to wait,
Or maybe-
and as I'm
no,
watching him
cure
start
wounds,
to do what
cure
I'm
wounds.
expecting him to do, I'm going to keep an eye out in the audience and start seeing if I see anyone do any gestures for anything. Because I remember that was a thing, right? Where they...
Yes, the audience is able to participate in the Blood Crypts in a similar way to the way that they donate to participate
10
up
hit
in the
points to you.
Carnarium.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Up top side.
Wait,
10
Mark.
hit points.
Nice. 10 healing there.
Oh, should I not be healing?
No, the healing
Is
is,
it okay?
is going on. It doesn't interfere with what you're looking at. He's
Okay.
doing
And
one thing,
8
you're doing
hit
the
points
other.
for you.
nice.
I was going to
You're all
stop
tapped
him
out.
before he did it if I noticed someone gesturing. So that's why I was keeping an eye out. I'm like, okay, now's the time he would do his thing. So I'm just going to keep an eye out. If I see anyone start to go... and like then I'm gonna put my hand on him and wait. So I'm gonna see if I can do like an investigation or perception or whatever you.
Or throw an axe at that guy.
Yes. I'm going to have you do a perception
Okay.
first.
Let's go. Just freak. 9 plus. Wasn't that great? That is a 13.
With a 13, as you're looking up at the crowd while Andavarius begins to chant and bring the rest of the team back up to snuff, you kind of still pumping with adrenaline, your carcass of the carcass of your enemy that you ripped open and kind of pulled apart is still there in the center, and you're still kind of huffing and heaving in that show of domination, and you kind of look up at them almost to meet a challenge. You can see that these people aren't actually really focused on you guys right now.
Oh.
You guys aren't the star of the show anymore. You look at these people and it almost pisses you off at how disinterested they are.
Excuse
Because
me?
as you look up, you're like, are you not oh, they're not entertained.
Yeah.
Because they're going, I want more drinks and I want this kind. They're
It's like the middle show.
yeah.
They were so excited for like 2
Interval.
seconds.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
are not dying, and so their attention spans have immediately just up and evaporated, and they're on to the next diversions.
Okay.
Some of them are doing little dicing games. Some of them are playing this strange thing where they're cutting digits and things like that with each other.
Oh my god.
One thing that you see an awful lot of are these little horns, and they seem to have runic enchantments around them that are being purchased. Some people have brought in custom ones, as well as little monoculars, enchanted monocles, binoculars, things like that. For some reason, despite the fact that you're in pretty damn close proximity to the actual audience, they seem to be getting things that enhance their senses, both visual and auditory.
So instead of a magnifying glass, it's an auditory equivalent.
I'm gonna have you do a history check
They
to
have
see
both,
if you
yeah.
remember why
They
it
have
is that they
goggles
do
and
this.
stuff, right? Binoculars and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, visual as
What
well.
check was this?
A history, just to see if you remember. Since you've been down here fighting for a while, I'm not sure if you've ever fought a
How
slag.
about
or-
Rakdos? Remember.
I rolled well,
Yeah,
but then I got
what
a
do I
negative
know?
1. So it's 14. I don't know if 15's a threshold, but usually there's like 5, so I don't know what it is, but I got 14. You tell me what I
Unfortunately,
know.
while you are Rakdos, you are very much Mitz Rakdos, which is to say, not very.
Oh.
There is a reason why you guys are seen as
Better.
kind of guildless.
Better than.
There's a reason the split happened in the first place, and it's because you guys are off-brand.
Ah.
So, yeah, unfortunately, you don't actually know. Meanwhile, you see this and you go, oh, okay. They're preparing for the Dread Slag fight. Because a Dread Slag is just this coalescing, insectoid shifting mass of faces, joints, and things. And whenever sentiences come near it, some section of it will actually kind of morph and click and clack and tear into a phobia for that thing. And it'll do that for as many things as it can in its environment. The problem is that it's kind of hard to watch. It's a lot of noise, chaos.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like pounding, shocking, like it's a visual onslaught. And so these people are doing stuff so that they can pick one of the 4 of you and go, I just want to see what they fear. I just want to hear what's being said to them.
I see.
They don't want all of the background noise. Because some of them might be really interested in seeing what the Sin Stalker is afraid of.
They don't want to
but they
see
don't
all the
care
other
about
white noise.
Tallulah, who
I'm-
it's their first time down here.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
of them would be particularly interested in seeing what the daughter of Hewitt would be afraid of. Especially
Nothing,
considering
obviously.
they're stuck up in the Carnarium.
Yeah.
Playing Rakdosette.
Yeah.
So they got a bunch of magical equipment. We should probably get some of that.
Yeah, when does anyone need it to do any spells or anything? Before we
I'm ready to
start?
kick ass.
Okay, cool.
think I'm
Then
good.
just before we start, I'm gonna do on my like person somewhere that's not gonna just fall off like my dress or like my glasses or things, to do magic mouth, to do that thing of like implanting the message in my voice, just saying that everything's okay, these things can't actually hurt you, you're okay, you're you,
Be your own coach.
you're Tink, yeah, you can do this.
Now,
Think about how cool you are,
I was
and
gonna-
that'll be it. And then just like repeated for 10 minutes, as soon as like bad
Saren,
things start happening.
this is entirely up to you.
Yeah.
Is this a persuasion or a deception?
think it's a persuasion.
Well, what is it,
Aw.
Saren?
Yeah, it's persuasion.
Yeah,
I
it
think that
is.
Tink is very powerful. It's just that she doesn't believe it, so she needs to persuade herself that she is.
Roll a
She's not-
persuasion.
Well, that
check.
sounds like deception.
My deception is better, though, to be
Basically.
fair.
I think she
Explanation.
believes she is. She
My
has
deception
self-doubt.
is better.
All right.
but,
So you're good
So
at
is it.
deceiving yourself into thinking everything will be all right.
I'm gonna do
But now
perception.
you're
Oh no,
persuasion.
it's persuasion. Sorry, it's the same actually. I just realised that. Ooh, 9.
All right.
My God.
You make this magical spell in your own voice. You have to think of what message to put into the spell before it starts repeating it to you. And
What does the
you
spell
think it,
message be?
and in the same way that when you are speaking normally and then you hear your voice over a recording, you go, "Am I that nasally?" You put that message, and this frightened little lady starts whispering just shakily and
Oh,
with a
yeah.
broken voice into your ear, and it is directly injecting fear straight into your brain.
You're like, I don't believe
It's
it.
gonna be okay. You'll be cool. You're good. You're so strong and cool.
It's gonna help in some way. I'm sure it is. She's fine with it. She's gonna leave it on.
Now,
'Cause it-
because you are doing this, everyone was going to have to make a save. You will be making this save at disadvantage.
Okay.
Because you guys are standing there, and at first, Andavarius was looking at the rest of you guys, wondering how injured you were. He was going to you, seeing what you needed. He was able to cast the spells, and he was doing it. He was just putting on a clinic, right? Just boom, 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 boom,
Yep.
while you were kind of checking out the surroundings, and then you're ready, waiting,
And
waiting.
I am going to
Oh,
do counter charm. I'm going to play a
Oh,
beautiful little medley right in between all of these guys, so we'll all keep 30 feet from me,
yeah.
okay?
Mm.
And I will just play us a nice little tune called Counter Charm.
What does it do?
Well, Counter Charm.
Gives you flight speed of 30.
I'm out then.
Oh yeah, I have flying.
It will give you guys advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed.
Oh.
Nice.
Well, that
Thanks,
should
Lisa.
help. What does it sound like, your
So
song?
now mine's a
Oh.
straight roll.
Yeah.
And so cool. Thank you.
I have no
So
fear anymore.
Instead of having my like scared little voice, I now have your beautiful music to drown that out.
Uh-huh.
They're competing.
Oh yeah.
Calvin, quick question for you. When this thing gets in your head or whatever it does it get in your ears, your head, your eyes? What sensory thing? Like from what I would know, not from metagame, but like what would I know about this thing?
you know that dreadslags are particularly tricky because what they do, the creature itself is magical, which it is so magical that the effect that it has, while it is indistinguishable from like a magical effect, it is effectually anchored into natural reality at that point. And so it's not actually like a wizard casting a spell that can be interrupted or resisted by magical means.
It's like a
It
tree
doesn't-
bringing out nutrients and stuff, and they're like it's part of the world almost.
Yes, it is a fantastical creature that breaks certain rules, but since that is an established fact, the way it breaks them is now solidly
It's not
within
broken.
the bounds
It's
of
with- yeah.
reality and nature. So it's a thing that it actually
Are you just
affects
getting at that there's no saves against this thing?
pretty much. It's auditory. You can taste and smell, but you provide. It feeds off. You're as much a.
Sure.
What I'm
So-
trying to get at is you are participating in your own demise when facing this thing. That's
We
why
are the
it's
vessel
tricky.
for its. Yeah. I got
Yes, because if you're like, I counterspell it, you would have to simultaneously be counterspelling your own personality, which is reflecting back at you through it.
Okay.
I
yeah.
gotcha.
That's why this thing is
It's more
nasty.
getting us to attack ourselves with our own thoughts like a mirror, as opposed to it attacking us.
They're as hated as these creatures are and as feared as they are, because they are fear incarnate given form, they are also seen as a very rare opportunity to truly test one's character, because there are no shortcuts. There is no spell, there is no weapon, there is no pill, there is no magic or technology that you can affix to yourself or use against it that will make it so that you can whoosh it away. You must
I got
be
this. We got
true
this.
to yourself
We don't know that.
in order to beat it. So if you can survive a Dread Slag, people are like, that guy's a cool dude. He's a straight up guy. No other way around it.
All right.
So you guys
E.
are standing there,
I have
waiting.
All right, bunch of
You
moss
begin to
dogs
sing.
out there. There's like 9
Yeah.
or something.
And it's all coming out of like the remnants of the ones that got smooshed. They
Yeah.
just come right back up again.
Oh, look, moss.
Yeah, hold the line there, dog. Everybody, just gather around me and Zarelia, right?
That
all right.
is my name, yes.
Yes. I just a little shook up by
I'm
all this.
already behind you. I'm just now
Perfect.
grabbing onto your
Good.
leg.
Yeah, I'm just gonna reach around, make sure you're there.
Yeah.
Just tap your head. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, shield up. Let's go.
All right.
And I'll just be playing my song, hoping it works.
You're playing your song.
I feel so much better with that song.
You're doing the counter charm. You're doing the counter charm. You guys are feeling good. You guys are feeling invigorated. Her kind of clarion call is just a shade of vibrations, just a hair's width outside of the bounds of reality and twinges on something deeper. It's affecting you on 2 different levels at once. She is speaking to your soul, telling you you're rock solid. And she keeps that
But
song
you weren't.
going, and she keeps it going. And the audience waits, and it is silent, but for your tune. And they all stare, and they wait, and they hold, and they seem to think that nothing is amiss. They are in rapt attention at nothing at all. A second ago, they were completely distracted. This seems to be part of the show. I'm going to need you to make a performance check.
Hell yeah. $24.
Oh damn.
24. You are playing, and it strikes you that the longer you play this melody, you can see that the rest of the people, they don't just keep paying attention. They're going. It seems like while nothing is changing, everything is changing in the eyes of the crowd. You are fighting and winning some battle that you're not truly aware of, but that the audience is keenly tuned into. A lot of them are all of a sudden going, and money is changing hands. People are looking at each other aghast. People are starting to like eat little bonbons and delicacies out of sheer nervousness. You are supposed to be waiting and have that fear simmer. You guys are supposed to wait in the unknown and just have your fear percolate and bubble up in the forefront of your thoughts, and you are holding it at bay, and you are doing it for so long. Like minutes pass, and to you guys, you just feel like it's like, there is
Drag
some
those
part of
bitches.
you that is shrieking, if not for Zarelia keeping it all just tightly under wraps. She is making it so that you guys get advantage on your roll
The
against
whole
this.
time I'm just like,
I think I'm gonna sit on the table with the corpse of that body stretched out and just go cross-legged and put my axe down, close my eyes, and just hum the tune that she's doing, just to kind of like add to it once I figure out what the audience is into it.
You do that where you start to clue in as the crowd is like getting so agitated when nothing is happening. You're like, sons of bitches.
Yeah.
The waiting is part of the fight. And then with her as that backup, it kind of gives you that little something to be a showman. You've got your own soundtrack being provided for you as you sit right next to the flesh of your recent kill. I could have been a monk.
I'm gonna start,
And you begin to hum.
nice. I'm gonna start like singing along with Zarelia and with Andy. Be like, I'll stop like just holding onto his leg so that he can like dance around a little bit and like, actually feel a bit more.
Yeah, I'll start dancing
I'll
around.
try that.
Got, like, a couple minutes.
I'll just bash my staff down just with the beat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
And I'll be like dancing around and doing a little twirl in my fire dress.
I'll be dancing
trying
as well
to like
to add to
calm
it.
it down.
Okay.
Make a big show of it.
I'm gonna need you guys, at this point I'm gonna need you to do a group,
Performance.
I want you to do a group performance.
Can we lend aid to the people that are better at the performance?
And I will lend them
You know
all
what?
aid
Yeah.
because I am amazing.
I would say that yes, if you know that you're not able to carry it out on your own,
I
you
am
can
the
look to
strength of
her
it.
as like the band leader and kind
Uh-huh.
of follow, and she can adjust based on
Good.
how she's.
I will
watching
take some
your
aid on that for
feet.
sure.
She's holding it in.
Another
Nat
24 for me.
I'll see if I get another natural.
I would
now.
like to just give
But
advantage
still.
to someone, but if everyone's just rolling, I can just roll. I'd rather give
No.
advantage to Mark.
You have
or
advantage
advantage
yourself.
Wait, I already
Oh,
got aid
performance?
from her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. But that's a 16 for me.
Yeah,
you.
Zarelia gave us a
18.
message.
What's that?
18.
You're
Everyone's
fucking
above-
amazing.
I get most of the beats.
You're so
16
good.
plus 2.
Wow.
Like somehow I sing so well and dance so well that I look so pretty.
I
Something
have taught
happened.
you well.
And this might literally be a first in this Blood Crypt's history, and you can tell it's a first because this is the most alive you've seen these people. A second ago, they were the most, like, their minds were so empty, their souls were so wrung out on existence.
Oh, that's so sad.
But now, you guys are standing there. You're not just, like, trembling. A lot of people are wetting themselves at this point. Some of them are trying to break their fingernails, trying to scratch their way out of the pit. You guys are standing strong, listening to the music. You summon up the moss dogs. You're kind of sitting by the kill. You start jumping around. You start playing along to it. This like basso rumbling voice from your chest, kind of. She's like ripping off of this rapier violin solo, boom, boom, and the crowd's going.
I have a finishing touch.
What are you doing?
What's lighting this area?
There are these like animated half-zombie corpses stuck on
Oh,
hooks
yeah, I
that are
love
coming
them.
off of the wall that hold torches and things that are
Torches,
holding
eh?
them around. There are also like chandeliers and imps that are carrying little candles and things moving from chain to chain up the ceiling.
Nice.
There's a lot of light. I was gonna
Yes,
blow
quite
out
a
some
lot.
of the light in the area to make it extra dark.
You want to do that?
Is there any?
Wanna do that?
I would love to do that if we could like make it so that it's not magical darkness, so that
I'm-
they can still see what's going on, but so we can just show that like we ain't scared of the dark either. Just that final little cherry on top.
Nice.
And it might look
I
at you if you
chant
got something like that.
Something elvish into the air and swirl my staff around. As this big cloud starts to form, and it just starts to rain upon all the little braziers and candles they have, and it extinguishes everything. I'm just creating water. So
So you take all the
gallons of
humidity and
water
shit in the air
are
and
just
like-
pouring out, psst, and are just,
And then just hear it go.
just putting out all these candles.
So
we get, like,
Andavarius is
sound
going,
effects.
"Gah, gah," hitting his staff into the sand, and with that, as you go,
Looking around.
the crowd is going, goom, goom, hitting their hands. These are performers, actually. A lot of them are, and a bunch of them that aren't can just, you can hear their legs kind of stamping in the auditorium. Even you see someone like Hewitt, unfazed up to this point, go, and he's like flicking his hair around a little bit. You can see he's like getting into this dance.
Nice.
The entire
Yeah.
audience is in tune with your beat.
I'm gonna light a little match.
The rain, it's only a
You don't
30-foot
even need
cube
to.
technically, so like the
Am I-
whole arena that we're in, the whole intersection, just as we're just getting doused.
I'm gonna light a little flame from my adventurers pack
but the guys up
and
there are
just
so
cover
far.
it with my hand so that my face is still glowing as everything goes out. And then I'm gonna look right at you and I'm gonna go.
Yeah, and
Nice.
all my mushrooms and moss, all just kind of perks up a bit, getting fed by all this rain and.
And then all of my like
What,
ninja
so-
rig is all glowing, and my fire dress when
Yeah.
I'm spinning around it flames up, and does like little fireball. So it's gonna like have a cool lighting effect on all of us. That's
We're
gonna
awesome,
be so.
guys.
I'm dancing
Yeah.
around those two. So
Might as
they
well-
look cool.
and-
Might as well affect my glowing pauldrons too. Get those to
Yeah.
just light up.
While
in
we're
the
at it,
rain.
I'm gonna start playing more vigorously and cast prestidigitation to make my bow like spark when I hit the strings.
Oh yeah.
So
we're
they're
having
going-
fun with this.
Let's see how many of them hits. They're putting bets on like who's gonna cry, who's gonna throw up, who's gonna pee, and who's gonna try to climb up. And some of them are like,
The
oh,
rain
that
is so they
person's,
don't see me
like,
pee.
The little one, she's gonna cut her own throat. And you guys, like, this little keening note comes out, silent at first, and then it just builds into this crescendo. The whole crowd's getting involved. They're actually cheering for you.
It's a visual orchestral
They
performance.
want to see what the hell else this thing that is made of fear can even turn into to affect you. These people are like, yeah, boom, boom. Some of them are actually going, yeah, you can see that they're putting their hands up, but they're not canceling out any of your effects. They are putting money, they're donating for things that you guys haven't seen come into play yet, but they are really invested in what you're doing. They are like at the edge of their seat, and they go,
I'll collect that at the end.
"Let it out! Let it out! Come on! Get it out! Bring it out! Bring it on!" They are yelling. They are goading fear itself to throw itself against the bastion that you guys have formed as a group, and that cage starts to rise up, and somehow it like matches with her playing as she picks up on it. Even it's like sticking insectoid crab-like long distended legs just go in beat with everything that you guys have done. Nothing escapes this all-encompassing performance that you guys have done. And the Draugr enters. Alright, now, you guys still have to, actually, no. You guys already passed with the performance. I'm gonna say that test that you had to make against fear, you pretty much passed. I'm gonna give that a big ol' auto success.
Woo! Oh,
Pretty good
also,
dice rolls.
How many minutes was that altogether, would you say? Just because
That was honestly like 6 minutes. You guys were actually like a band playing a song
Then
at a concert.
I have 4 minutes left of my like hearing thing, but just so that you know
Yeah.
roughly when it ends.
Okay, yeah, and 4 minutes left of my spores as well, so that's good.
Your little backup dancing moss
Yeah.
dogs are
Oh my god.
putting a little sass
I
in
love
it.
that.
You're like,
I'm
I taught them to
imag-
do
Oh
it.
yeah, I'm imagining Tink rolling around on the floor so she looks like a fireball. She's just like rolling around, having so much fun.
This crowd is on your side. The gates open up. It pulls itself out, and as soon as its head comes out, it's this disc-like head with these two mandibles, but it's covered in this irregularly, like, it's this lumpy kind of texture until you realize it isn't divots in a chitinous plating. They are humanoid faces that are kind of bubbling out of what seems like hard crab shell or insect exoskeleton, but they just kind of pop and blister and kind of jiggle away like flowing flesh. This thing appears, and each of its legs just kind of takes on this shotgun of sensory data for each of you. You guys are playing a great song, and some of it is actually going to stop the auditory assault. But you cannot help the smells that hit you in rapid fire. As quickly as your brain can process it without getting used to it, and before you can fully understand it, it hits you with another one. It is perfectly timed to cause maximum carnage on your sense of self. It just goes, shit, vomit, boom, 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 and death, gut, and it keeps hitting you with all of these different smells. And as it gets to about the fourth or fifth smell, within the span of 3.5 seconds or so, you realize that you start getting hit with smells that in and of themselves are innocuous. Most people wouldn't care. But there is a smell of a type of mushroom that you smelled, that you were cultivating because your dad showed you where it was, and your mother found you digging in the dirt by yourself alongside the servants of the house. You were punished greatly for it, as were the servants who encouraged it. So was your father. Even his good mood vanished for a few days following that little event. You smell that mushroom. Smells are coming to you from deep in your minds, the recesses of your memory. Things are coming for you.
No, Mommy, we were just growing. I just like the way they taste.
You, Zarelia, smell chalk. Chalk from the classrooms that you attended. You start to smell the way that the kids that would bully you and taunt you smelled. And you can pick them out as if it was some little iota of a thing about to vanish with time, and it grabs it and rips it through all of your synapses and rubs it in the very front of your senses. You are back at school with the smells that it provides you. You smell a drug.
Demon girl.
You smell the drug that became oh so common of an odor that clung to your uncle, one of the greatest of the Odrune, a man who had risen and made your family line proud. That is the smell of corruption to you. Other people, it is a sweet release, a little dalliance at worst. For you, it elicits this spike. There is a thing that happens in your heart when you smell that drug, and it almost makes you like cringe upwards into a ball. You smell burnt ozone. You smell these very rare kind of chemical burns that are going on with extreme amounts of power and energy behind them. Something that can only happen when the very best, most skilled Statocasters get to work. You smell your grandma very casually getting ready to go to work, probably doing more powerful magic than you will ever be capable of doing. That's what you smell, is the weight of your heritage. That's just the smells. Then you get the same thing as far as visuals go. You have all of these different like limbs breaking people from your... At first it's just strangers and gross things. You see a whole bunch of like genitalia and like lips and tongues all disembodied. And kind of open sinew spurting blood. You see a lot of generically gross things, bugs, crap, things like that.
I mean, that's just breakfast for me, so...
And that's the thing, is at first it's kind of just getting a feel like, this scares most people, and it's going, and it's just pulsing out, kind of just to go like, most people would be scared of this. But by that, like, half-dozenth shape shift, all of a sudden it starts to grab onto things particular to yourselves. Everyone, I'm going to need you to roll your first saving throw.
Against fear?
This is against fear, and you guys so far still have the counter charm up
advantage.
and going. You guys do have advantage for this one.
Con
I
save?
did roll a 1. So
No, this is not a con save.
Just a straight save.
No, this one is a wisdom saving
Oh,
throw.
it was cool. Then 16.
Oh no.
16?
Oh.
You have advantage, right?
Do we?
Yeah, you're the
Yeah,
one
you're
that's
the
been
one.
giving us advantage.
Do we have advantage?
Oh,
Or is it
yes.
my one's a
I'm
straight
still
one
playing.
now?
Yours... No. Yours is...
Straight,
Straight.
now? Or disadvantage? Or would it be?
No, yours is at advantage because
okay.
you're kind of being drowned out by the song
same.
you guys are producing.
Dex save.
So, sorry, what kind of save was
This
it?
is a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, good. 18.
19.
13.
You guys were the closest to it. DC 20. But I was pointing it to the camera while you guys weren't looking, so I'm like, haha, they'll know.
What about the puppies?
You can go ahead and do a wisdom saving throw for the puppies.
If
Now,
they-
7?
the puppies, I don't think appreciate the music.
Mhm.
They are moss. So
They
I'm going
just,
to
like,
say
wipe
straight
their
roll.
ears into
Well, not
the-
according to the spell.
I
And if they can
can
hear
do
it,
that.
if they have ears for that matter, they should. Right?
I think the moss part is just a skin.
Okay.
I think they have sensory
Yeah.
mushrooms with like dimples on the mushrooms
All right,
that
so
can
there's a
receive
lot of them. How do you want me to roll it? 9 times?
No, just
One for them.
I want to say just do it once,
3. Okay.
Yeah.
but it's up to you.
Okay, yeah, once is good. Come on, Pepis, you're not scared of this guy. Ooh. What's their plus? What's their plus, Calvin?
Minus.
The wisdom of a
Wisdom.
wolf, I don't think is all that great.
I got extras. It's not a riding horse. Actually, it's +1, so it's a 20.
The moss dogs, so simple-minded they may be, these, like, the base smells are hitting these moss dogs, the base images, but they're like, that's our life, bro. We're scared of that, and we're cool with being scared of that. We're animal life. We know what to be afraid of. All good here. They just chill with it. Meanwhile, you guys have kind of succumbed to this. You guys were so pumped and ready for it, and all of a sudden this absolute unceasing sensory barrage is hitting you on multiple fronts. It makes it damn near impossible to carry on the counter charm, but we're going to do another collective roll to see if you can actually pull it off. Actually, no, the one that matters is Lisa, really. She is the anchor for it. So if one of you guys, who has like the highest can someone give her aid with trying to keep the song going?
Well, I'm keeping the beat, so
I
I have
that
an
helps.
idea. Being the soldier that I am, could I try to do like a motivational speech type thing about something? Like I have an idea. I don't know if it would be good enough for you, but
Well, that's going to come in the next... This is kind of you guys getting hit by it and seeing if you can hold on
then
to
I
your
will
train of
hold on.
thoughts and
Would
keep on
my
to the
natural
performance.
20 have done anything? For the my performance was a natural 20 plus 2. I think I
Alright.
had the better performance out of you two.
my performance.
your dance is great.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say. You guys are you guys are effectively going to be providing aid. Both of you guys, you're kind of keeping the beat. Your moss dogs are still relatively unaffected, so they're still doing their choreography, which makes it look as if most of the things in that pit are still cool. So each of you guys is going to roll at advantage thanks to the support of your party members. And this is going to be a performance to see if you can keep up the counter charm.
Okay.
Yay! You can do it. If you can't do it,
DC for this would be
With advantage?
Yes.
14.
Well, does 19 work?
10.
Aw.
10 for me.
10.
So-
Oh no.
Boom, boom. Pouring rain, getting my eyes on that.
At first, the rain seems like a great idea. Every time you guys move, it's like doing these artistic like flashes of droplets all over the place, especially with the mood lighting coupled in. And now you're just wet and cold. Soaked through. And it just sticks into the mud. A little bit of playing is still heard. The rest of you have been kind of stopped there. Why don't we roll initiative to see who is going to get to
happened
handle
to the rest
their
of my
thing
band?
first. Now, Lisa, I am going to say that you and a person that you move next to, or that you choose that you're next to when you were standing, gets the benefit of your counter charm. Half of you are successful, so it's kind of half as successful right now.
Okay.
Who do you, along with yourself, want to have benefit from counter charm?
I'd probably be closest to Andovarius.
Yeah, I was kind of in the middle of everything on my own on the table.
Yeah.
Not on my own, but.
All right, you and Andovarius can still hear your song, can still hear your playing. He trails off, and you just dig deep and play that bit harder, and you keep on it despite what's happening.
Okay.
All right. What did you all get for initiative?
15.
15? 6?
13.
21 for dogs, 11 for me.
All right, 21 for
Go
dogs.
go.
Sweet.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So,
They're right at the front, that we hit it
Yeah,
first.
they got this.
yes. Now, the dogs, no one is really keying in their listening devices and their binoculars on the dogs.
I would.
No one is really interested in that titanic showdown.
Guys, check out the sweet dogs. I don't know.
But, all right, I am going to, well, let's see. So before they can act, what can this dread slag do?
2 dogs. Moss dogs.
What, how would death... You guys are kind of locked into this tunnel vision, each with the thing that is kind of sprouted out, the limb that is assumed fears specifically keyed into you, and each of the limbs that is facing the moss dogs, all of them kind of take on this same form. There is this symbolic representation of death, this thing that like speaks directly to an inner core and bypasses argumentation from the mind of the thing that it's revealing itself to. It is harsh desert sunlight, a condition that these things would kind of wither and desiccate in, and that's the key, is that
Just trying to squirm
this is
away from that.
irreversible. When there is wet, where there's water, there's life, and wherever they die, they can restart that cycle of death and rebirth. That is the Golgari way. These things are effectively immortal unless they were to be utterly obliterated and rendered like completely desiccated and blown apart to the winds. They fear the sun. That is their representation of death. Have them roll. If they succeed, they may all take their actions as normal.
Roll again. They already did a roll.
Yes.
This is a different roll, Mark. There's a lot of rolls in D&D.
Do they still have advantage against the sphere?
Forever. That's what I say. I don't know what counts.
Yes. Yeah, why not? Yeah. You control them, and you are
All right.
benefiting from the
Another
counter
roll for
track.
them. What kind of save is it?
This is a... That would be a intelligence saving throw.
Ooh,
Stupid dogs.
yeah. Very stupid dogs. Yeah. With advantage, that is a -1.
With advantage, is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Rolls are going downhill now.
Oh my god.
All right. These moss dogs are dancing and swaying at the initial kind of exit of the dread slag. They kind of get through the first bit, which is the assault on the senses, but then when their symbolic vision of death appears before them and they go to attack, it freezes them in place, and you would feel that there is something happening to their nature. They are not actually burning up in the sun. but something about their essence, their mind, believes they are. Believes it enough that the magic that sustains them is undoing itself of its own volition. They slip 1/3 closer to annihilation, pretty much. And their activation is used up for this turn. That was the 21 for the Moss Dogs. Then we go to you, who is next up for initiative.
15, yeah.
What? They don't get to do anything for their turn.
They lost bad.
That is how they fight. If you actually win the DC, this creature fights in terms of things either accepting or rejecting the fear that it puts into them.
Okay.
That's how you fight it. You don't bite it with your teeth.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember telling me about that. I think
Yeah.
it'd be good.
So
You don't kill this
intelligent.
thing with a sword.
Intelligence roll. Or what is
Yes.
it? Okay.
Now, the thing is as you get ready to do something,
Isn't it intelligence save?
yes, it is
I
an
have
intelligence
advantage on
save.
these. I just have advantage.
Is it against a magical effect?
Yeah, against magic or intelligence.
Is it all intelligence savings throw, but not
Yeah.
against magic? Are you sure?
Against magic.
This
And
does
is it-
not
is it
count
magic?
as a magical spell that is assaulting your mind. You
okay.
are helping it.
Okay.
Your own mind is working against you right now. It is inside of you. In
makes
fact,
more
that is what
sense.
your symbolic death kind of takes the shape of as you go to act against it.
Ooh, good.
18 plus 3.
18 plus 3?
Nice.
All right. I was going to describe what death looks like to Tink, but you know what? Yeah, there is
Terrifying.
this kind of formless mass of electricity, and it is the biggest thing you've ever seen. You've always felt small. This thing makes you insignificant. You've always been physically small, but never felt like you didn't matter. The scope of this thing's power. It is made of the stuff that you're supposed to master, that you're immune to, that you wield, and it is so beyond that you know that if it touched you, it would overload your suit. You would be nothing to it. But then, as you look at it, you go, we're all nothing to it in the end, in the grand scheme of things. And as the lightning kind of scatters towards you and is burning everything in its path as it comes towards you, you merge with that lightning. You don't fight that thing, you become one with it. You are insignificant compared to it, but once you go with its flow, its majesty, you're incorporated in it, you're one with it, and you survive. And that image of death, that symbolic representation of the end of things for you, is now empowering.
What do
You have caused it to fail one of its grip holds. And there are 3 attempts at gripping into your mind. You have used up one and has 2
Hope
left.
everyone's seeing this.
All right.
Saying what?
Yeah, that's the
You
thing.
don't see it,
Is
but-
there are 4 different shows that are going on.
Yeah.
So the people who are keyed in to Tallulah's little show are seeing. They actually, to you, your whole mind is filled with it. This isn't a pantomime. This isn't a creature imitating a thing. Your vision is filled with this
Lightning.
apocalyptic thing. It takes over your senses. But to the people in the crowd, they actually do see it as an animal, almost a chameleon going, I'm lightning now.
Oh, yeah.
It is doing this crude physical imitation, but in your mind, it is
hilarious. I
entirely
love
more
that.
serious.
So now that she's resisted or reached for the darkness, the madness, does she get a turn or can she?
She
what
did
does it do?
fight it. Instead
Okay.
of her suffering the penalty,
These
she
are
has
her
actually
turns.
inflicted 1 wound against the psyche of the dread slag that's
So,
trying
yeah,
to
So instead of
Grabbing
rolling
it.
to attack it with your weapon, you
It
have
is
to
a
roll it.
contest.
I gotcha. Cool.
You guys are
That's very
competing with
Be
it.
just
on your
grabbing
turns.
it and holding it up and holding my arms up to the air. And just being like, ah!
So
Yeah.
death comes for you, it obliterates everything in
Goes
its
inside
wake,
me.
and you're like, take me.
Yeah.
And you become death,
just,
just kind of
let it
burning
go out.
Ravnica.
Oh yeah.
You
no,
just
that's-
eat it up.
That's my that is so high, what I wish I can get to, because she's so terrible. She is Tink is terrible at magic when it comes to I'm almost thinking of it I'm gonna have those whips of electricity,
Nice.
the giant ones that are the size of the whole building that I'm in. Like,
this is
that's
such
what I
an
think.
abstracted symbol of death, and you totally make it like an imaginary dream, like,
Yeah.
where you're just controlling.
I'm having fun in my dream. This is like my
Stomping
like,
around the city, just
what
crushing
Tim-
everything.
Yeah, what Tim dreams of.
Nice.
Like I'm almost thinking like that. Like if she wins the next one, then it will just be her new dream. And
What
it'll
should
like-
be an existential crisis, you've turned into a power fantasy.
Yes.
Well done, Tim. All right, who's next in the initiative? I believe it is
I only had
13.
11.
13, and then it goes
Oh.
to 11. Okay. Zarelia. Death looks very different to you than it does to Tink. Quite obviously. And there are a lot of
Why?
people who are keyed into your performance, though you can't see how many or which people exactly are watching. Regardless, Death comes to you as a mother. She is quiet and graceful, and she moves in a way that only the most ageless of women can move. There is such an ancient grace. It defies the imagination. Even in the elves that you've seen, this is like a pale imitation. And her gown, as she kind of moves with arms lovingly outstretched toward you, she has the most beautiful smile, and it is a genuine one. And she wants to give you a hug. And this train that she carries behind her of her dress is just the unteeming billions upon billions of all those lives on Ravnica, all of the people who have ever died. They all become one. She is the anti-mother. She is this kind of reversal on a virgin birth. She does not give birth to anyone, but they are all her children in the end. And whatever their differences may be, they are accepted.
What do you do?
Death comes for you. Go ahead and roll your
Say not
intelligence.
today.
Not today! Now, you do have advantage. Because even though she is null, and there is no sensation, there was this bombardment a second ago, and it cuts. And she is everything. You can still, through this like mental barrier, your muscle memory is playing this song. And the fact that you play, both in the physical realm and in the magical one, that second resonance is giving you something, some like little flicker of light and color of life in the face of this gray woman, this dark
God.
lady.
Okay.
You have advantage on the roll.
Intelligence?
This is intelligence saving throw.
Yay.
You must recognize that what you're seeing is a symbol.
Yay. It's 19.
Plus?
I don't have a plus.
19.
Remember to say it was 20.
With a 19,
Close.
with a 19, death comes towards you, and you have
I'm a
this
survivor.
little orange
Keep on
light,
surviving.
and it makes the most beautiful noise, and it's this little ball of talent, and she gets on her haunches and sits there with her chin on her hands, and just watches you play. She watches that little light that you bring in, and she loves it. She kind of strokes your hair and brings you in. And as she holds you and hugs you oh so snugly, she snuffs out your light. You have lost a death saving throw.
Is she unconscious?
She is not unconscious. Her own mind is going to kill her if she
Flickering
succumbs
out.
to the dread slag. That's what it fights on. It is not fighting you on a physical
What do you do?
way.
I hug my mommy.
It is honestly one of... You feel oneness. It is the most loved you've probably ever felt.
It is, definitely.
All right.
So, are you still playing your song?
I would say make a concentration
See
save.
if that little line is like.
I'm not going to have the DC be... you didn't technically take damage, but the DC is higher. So I would put it at like a
Well,
14
no.
for Constitution.
Advantage?
Does this give you does your counter charm give you advantage on that?
Yes.
I don't think I'm on the concentration.
For
checks.
concentration checks, do you have are you like a
Concentration.
warcaster or...
Nope.
No, it's not a saving throw.
It is a
Type.
type of saving throw, but concentration checks are a different thing, I guess. So
Oh.
the DC is 14,
No, I didn't do it.
and unfortunately, you are too wrapped up in the hug that To the audience, as you were playing, you stop. Your arms go down. And then you hug the air as this this malformed red bug-like kind of amalgamation, and some of the color at the front of it is kind of turned gray and white in this weird, almost like a cheap knockoff Halloween witch that you would buy. That's kind of what this beautiful gray lady looks like to the rest of the audience. So that's what happens to you. And Avarice, you're up at 11.
Then I will just put my staff down, put my hands atop it, and just try to concentrate and listen to what this thing wants, and just try to hone in on what it wants from me and fight back on it.
Do you want to know what your death looks like?
No. Yes, he does. He wants to face it, and...
You're a member of the Golgari. Death is no big thing to you, and yours. Death just means rebirth. Right? You have the undead. Very casual. But that's where the Dread Slag actually gets one step ahead of you. It knows that you're Golgari. It knows who you are and Avarius. And the death that you see is the death in a man's eyes. It's your eyes. You see you as you are. You see you dead on the ground, your eyes still open, this 1,000-mile gaze. You see you risen back up, that wound sealed over with the start of a little fungus mushroom colony. You see you. Each millisecond, a decade passes as you slink, you grow taller, more powerful. You seethe with energy. You become like an underrealm lich. You are immortal. Death doesn't come for you. Except in your eyes. You're already dead, Indivarius. You have no purpose. You can live forever and still want to die and be effectively dead. That's what your death looks like.
Okay.
Make your saving throw. Intelligence.
That very well might just happen. Oh, that's not at advantage anymore. I'm gonna roll again. Too bad that was a natural 20. And sorry, what kind of roll is this?
This is an intelligence
So
saving throw.
basically only a natural 20 will work.
But you can get two of them in a row. That's common, right?
Yeah, totally. 1 in 400, I think.
Isn't it a 50-50 chance? That's what the math is.
Oh my god. Oh, actually, I'm smarter than I thought. 10.
All right. You look at this thing's eyes.
All that power and no purpose. What am I still doing here? Why?
You said it perfectly. All that power and no purpose. And your eyes reflect its eyes. You lose a death save. Next in the order,
Oh no!
Baltic.
Don't look at me.
Do you want to know what death looks like to a born and bred soldier, minotaur of the Odrun line?
Maybe.
Member
I have a question for you first.
the Legion? Yeah, what's up?
Much like we can interact with an object or talk for a minute. Not a minute. But can I say something as an intimidation or something type of check to see if I can get the audience back on our side enough to give me, at least me advantage? If not, it's totally okay, because this is a weird fight and I totally get it. I just figured it out.
I would say that you're kind of locked in
Perfect, okay.
mentally. Like your senses are kind of shut off to the outside world. Your whole world is now the thing in front of you. So I wouldn't say that you're able to break out of that until one of you actually defeats your branch. Then you can free yourself, and you can even help other people in their battles against the creature. You actually kind of ground yourself again. So once you do that, then you can start acting normally.
Alright, what am I doing?
As far as we're concerned, what Baltic's symbol of death is a pebble. There is no big creature in front of you. There is a small rock, but the size of a marble. Then there's a bug.
I really don't like that, because that
Bug.
actually works with what I was thinking.
There is a bug, just about housefly size.
Uh-huh.
And as this housefly kind of drifts towards you, you can see that it has the tiniest little proboscis, a little stinger on it. And if you go to back away, as soon as you go to take that half step, there's that little pebble that almost throws you off balance. To you, death is just some unfightable inglorious, random force out there. There is no fantastical, heroic death that waits for Baltic. You break your neck falling down the stairs one day. That's what death is to you. Roll to stop it.
Horrible.
I don't want it, Calvin.
Intelligence saving throw.
It's not
13.
You lose a death save. Now that we come back to the order, every one of you guys, as you are wallowing in this experience, kind of dipping into it for a few seconds, I'm going to give you each an option. You guys can roll a d20. Now, if you passed, then on a 19 or a 20, then you actually hurt it by another grip point. It loses its grip even more on you. On a 1, you lose a death save. If you lost against it, on a 1 or a 2, you lose another death save. But on a 20, it loses a little bit of a grip on you.
So it's a gamble.
It's a gamble.
I'm good.
What happens if you don't roll?
If you don't roll,
It's
then
just straight. It's
you
just
just
what it is.
accept the result as it was.
I'm a roll, because why not? I don't even know what I gotta get. What do I gotta get again?
You failed,
20.
so on a you want a 20.
You got a natural. Have to have a natural 20.
I had to have a natural 20.
Yeah, because you
Oh, right.
you don't have
Okay.
intelligence.
Well, let's see what happens, guys. No, it's got a 2 in it, but that's not it.
Oh,
Oh god.
okay.
God.
You said it's got a 2 in it. I'm like, that could mean it's a 2.
Or 12?
Oh,
No.
yeah, it was a 2. I
Oh.
forgot the roll.
I thought it was a 12. I was looking at it.
No,
Oh, I
it's the
hate
metal
those
dice. It is a 2.
I hate those
didn't
dice 'cause
realize
they're
it.
so
I'm
calligraphy.
sorry. Oh, well. Calvin.
I got one.
You go to swat the fly. You're like, it's a fly. You grab it in your hand. It tries to like buzz and dart away, and you, yes. You marvel at like the speed of your reflexes, the way that you crush it, and then you feel like this little twinge in your palm, and you open it up, and the precise way that you crush that fly, you drove its stinger into a little hole in your glove and right into your skin. That is what death is to you, Baltic. And you've brought yourself closer.
You're
to
allergic
it.
to bees?
You
Why
are
didn't you tell us?
Death saves down.
One left.
Who else is rolling?
I'm
No.
not wrong. 100%.
Just gonna wallow
4,
in
so I
this
don't
experience.
care, but I don't die. So I'm just going crazy. I'm just like,
Hug her
yes!
and cry her until she
This is
kills
so
me.
cool!
I'm gonna start to look less. I don't think I ever really looked afraid, because I'll tell you why later. But he's gonna start to look really sad. He's trying to keep his chin up a little bit, but his eyes are gonna go down. He's gonna try to.
Yeah.
Whereas I look forlorn.
Lord, Lord.
Thank you for the little morale
You can
boost.
take crestfallen.
Going into round 2 was weighing on me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I look happy a little bit.
Oh.
what the
I
must.
got like a happy tear on my
Oh.
Screw the moss dogs.
Oh.
face. First time I've ever been loved in my whole life.
It's okay, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something.
Tallulah.
I just have to wait until the
Actually,
oh, the-
moss dogs.
Moss
Yeah.
dogs.
Oh, the
Fight moss dogs. They've already weakened its hold on. Wait, no, they failed against
Yeah,
against
saw
the
the sun.
Parching Desert
Yeah.
Sun.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now,
But they passed one of them. The first one.
yeah.
What's the save?
This save is different because it's moving from abstract representations. It's starting to key in more specifically to its victims. But I don't know what the higher order functioning of a moss dog is. So I'm actually gonna
Multi?
lower the DC for them because
Basically
It's
just
going
a
bark,
fight or
bark,
flight instinct.
bark,
That's all they
bark.
got.
Yeah, it doesn't get any harder than that, and they've already kind of dealt with it. So yeah, the terror is kind of weighing off. The DC is now 15.
But what's the save?
Charisma.
Charisma. Oh, they're not charismatic
This one is trying
little
to
moss dogs.
appeal to their self.
Handsome doggies, you.
No, that's at 8, I guess, for all of them.
So, where literally the thing that can obliterate them for now and forever, they're like, whatevs. But then another moss dog kind of appears to them, and you're like, oh no.
That's an alpha
Not
moss dog.
granddad moss dog. And it's, you can see that it's got like vines that droop down like a mustache. And those dogs are
A moss between their legs.
they wilt in the face of Grandpa Moss Dog and his stern advice.
Oh, no, they've soiled themselves. yeah,
Yeah, a bunch of their, like,
just a bunch of
under-
mud comes out from under them.
Yes. So the Moss Dogs Those dogs lose a death save. Oh, this is their second death save that they've lost.
Oh,
That's right.
poor master.
Tink,
So,
you move out of the abstraction as you revel in the power that you gained from conquering symbolic death. All of a sudden, the lightning stops. The power fantasy ends. You are back in the pit, and there is just the lady in front of you. And she's old and stooped. Oh, Tallulah, my dear.
what are you doing? Why are you here?
I'm here because I'm so tired.
No.
Tink, you poor little waste of skin. Alright, here's the thing, dear. You know how your friends left you the first time, and then like the second time, and they kind of made a habit of doing it, and it was really hurt.
The same time was really bad.
Yeah. And the fact that they weren't like the same people, so it was different people who all came to the same conclusion. That hurt, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you ever stop to think that they weren't like the first ones to do that?
What?
Where are your parents, Tallulah?
They're is it mines and factories?
And that's important work, you think?
Yeah, I was getting in the way.
You were getting in the way. That's what I'm saying, little one.
But I don't want to be like them. I want to be like you.
Yeah, I think that was the problem, is they realized you weren't gonna be like them.
But I
Or
don't-
like me, dear. Raising a child is the most important thing anyone can do, but
you
they
gave me
prefer their factory work.
You gave me your stuff.
Your dick.
I thought it would help.
But I have been helping. Look, you should see me. I want to show you when I come up from Rakdos. Look at what I did down here.
Yeah? What did you do?
I beat a huge team of people. I won the racing. That was because of me. I'm gonna do this. Look. I got through that crazy place.
Oh, Tink.
I can do this.
No. Your
Yes, I
team
can.
can. Come here.
And then my like
Your
voice
grandma goes to hug you.
is cute. It's
and it's
gonna
like death all over again.
I know. My voice is gonna be like doing the little screechy thing, so she probably can even hear that. Then she thinks
Yeah,
I'm just
screw
repeating
Grimm.
myself when I've just like
Yeah.
stuttering and can barely even talk.
Just taser.
Yeah.
And roll.
Taser. You got that taser?
What's
This is a
it?
charisma saving throw.
11 plus, and then what is it?
It's a charisma saving throw.
Plus 5. I got a 16. Is yeah.
Your grandma highlights that the thing that you saw as the first real betrayal was number 2, and the first one is now hitting you with the full force. You lose another death saving throw.
Only one.
Yeah, that's the first one.
First
All
one.
right.
Okay.
Next in the
I
order.
can't do it.
Yay!
No, that was your fight.
Even like a separate
boy.
thing that's not fighting.
I couldn't.
What do you want to try?
I want to, when we go into this like world, we don't really like walk around and move around, do we?
No, it's
Then-
almost like when you guys are like Neo and Morpheus are just standing in blank space in the
Then
Matrix.
if I'm just having to do a message where I have to point in the direction of someone, can I do that to those two? Because they're right next to me.
No,
I couldn't even talk to the audience.
you're not moving. You're standing still in the arena.
So
This
you
is
can't
not a
even, like-
battle where people are going dodging and flipping off of stuff. They are just eating up everyone's innermost fears, their most
so you
private
have no
insecurities
control over it.
on display for a bunch of strangers, and life and death is on the line.
I was hoping I could literally just move my arms on the outside. I
No.
wasn't.
I couldn't even
fine.
talk to the audience.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't need to talk because I could have talked like in my mind, but yeah.
Who is up next?
It's me.
Zarelia, do you want to know what the more keyed in thing that comes for you is? It's Hewitt.
Sure.
Oh no.
While you are enjoying the most loving hug you've ever had, something
The
shoves
hug
you
that I
back.
always wanted from my father, yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as it is your father, it nearly knocks you to the ground. As he kind of pulls away and just... Oh.
I wouldn't want to get your suit dirty.
Well, then don't touch me.
Okay.
Now, Zarelia, you will have to earn Rake in public. What is it exactly that you think you're accomplishing here? What do you think is going on that you can have your little plans behind my back and think that me, someone who has lived alone for hundreds of years in the most backstabbing place, the most chaotic environment ever, doesn't see this obvious betrayal from a little girl coming? What's the grand plan, You want to be known as a traitor before you have me kill you? Is that what this comes down to?
I don't have other plans.
Oh? I think you're forgetting that I'm in your head right now. Don't lie, little miss. It's unbecoming, and you're not good at it yet.
You are not really here. You are over there.
As soon as you kind of confront it on its own grounds and just go, no, whatever this guy has to say, it'll be one step ahead of you if you're playing its game. You recognize it for what it is, you get advantage on your charisma saving throw as the illusion of him goes...
That's right,
and
Daddy.
you get an image of like the kind of weird crab-like folding comical facade for an instant. The thing that everyone else is seeing in the physical world, it like breaches through and erases the glamour that is making the illusion in your mind. You have advantage on your charisma saving throw.
Okay.
Come on, Lisa.
You can do it.
You get a nat 20, that would be 2 hits on him.
25.
Oh.
Whew! Alright.
cow.
With a 25, you point out the game that is being played, and the creature kind of stumbles over itself for a little bit. It loses a point of grip on your mind. Well done. Next in the order, you can stand tall. This is a mental arena that he kind of knocked you to your ass on, and if it wanted you to stay in the dirt, normally it could make you to kind of increase your sense of powerlessness. Despite its will to keep you down there, you rise up with a dancer's grace. You are on your feet.
Awesome.
You're up next.
Yeah.
And Avarius, do you want to know what this thing looks like to you?
Scary.
Yeah, of course.
Alright. To you, surprise, surprise. Out of the kind of cold, dead eyes, the eyes remain the same, but the features become much lovelier. They become feminine. They become very tall, long-limbed. You see that it has the very similar facial features, almost like it's your mom.
Yeah.
Because it is.
Yeah, and I know that it's her, or I could tell that it's this other thing.
It's very hard to kind of like confront that image. We'll see if you can kind of wrestle your way to it. If you can earn like a trip on it, then you can call it out on its bullshit. You can catch it in a loop and you can call it out directly. But as it is, your mother kind of draws up regal and elegant, except the bottom half of her doesn't just look like it has this cape of living vegetation. It actually becomes like the bulbous kind of back end of a spider, the limbs kind of sticking out to either side, and she has these elongated fangs.
Mother, you're looking nice.
Thank you, Andavarius. It is so nice that you recognize these qualities in myself, which you should have inherited, I think. That's how it works normally.
Well, maybe I'll grow legs like all those at some point, but I'm afraid I haven't. Yeah, I just got these two.
This, like so many other things, dear boy, are beyond you. Now, I was hoping that your father, seeing as how fantastically he carried himself by your age, and myself included, I was quite the prodigy. I was hoping that you wouldn't just get my good looks. I was hoping you would get a share of the family's talent.
I have talents. I can do many things. I have magics and I've risen to many challenges in the past week. I think you'd be quite proud.
You think I'm proud of you, Antivarius? An idiot is really good at babbling nonsense. Doesn't make them good when the list of things that they're terrible at is so long, you see. And I've tried so very hard. I've given you the best start I could, haven't I? I raised you and all of this money and splendor and skill. I even bred with another magic user and you got my magic. His and my own. There should be no excuse. Antivarius, you have eternity to improve yourself. That's not the timeline for perfection. Anyone who attains lichdom has the rest of their existence to become powerful. It's a very common thing. You are supposed to be great in the prime of your life.
Well,
and you've already missed.
I'm still quite young. I'm only 21. And for an elf, it's barely anything. Just give me time. I'll get better.
I've given you time.
I leveled up like 2 days ago.
Damn it now!
Go on.
You know what? I am going to make you do a pre-roll.
Yeah.
I want you. You know how you actually like goof around and get under your real mother's skin to the point that it throws her off her like regal appearance? What roll would that be? Like a fuckery roll, like a dink roll.
For deception,
like a
performance.
What do
You think he'd be a persuasion, as that's what he's trying to do?
Yeah, like.
I mean, it's terrible.
What
but
is
persuasion.
Because it's happened
So
so many
that's
times where
fair.
your mother is trying to be serious and you just like bug her enough until she's like, I give up.
Uh-huh.
What is a fluster roll? So you want persuasion?
Yeah, I'm trying to persuade her.
Okay. If you roll well for your persuasion, the DC for this gets chunked.
I mean, it's a +0, so it'll just come out as fuckery, I'm sure.
All right. The DC is going to be 12.
It was like 22.
Oh,
+0. So
That would have been so perfect.
Bardic inspiration.
no. Yes.
Do any of you guys have inspiration?
I don't think so.
Inspiration, no.
I do.
I think Benny had some that he didn't use, but he doesn't.
I
exist.
did.
Do you have it?
I did, and I will use it right now.
Okay.
Perfect.
See, I'm getting stronger every day. Oh no, I'm not. It's an 8.
You go,
Stronger.
I'm getting stronger. And she just, I'm getting stronger, I swear. I swear. Just, what normally flusters your real mother rebounds off of the like feeding need, the predatory hunger of this other mother who isn't thrown
Yeah,
off.
right.
And she stays solid and it just gets thrown right back at you. You have to make this save and it is not altered. DC 20, it's charisma based.
Roll your dice.
Charisma. Damn you, Calvin. That's a 14.
No. You slip a little bit closer to death under the withering gaze of your mother. Which is kind of normal. It's a failed death save.
Can I move around? Can I?
Is there anything you want to do within the dream space? It's within the dream space only.
Yeah. I'm just gonna get down to her knees and just start begging. Just, please, I'm still good. I can prove it to you.
Then
I'm not like my brothers. They
if
failed you,
only
I know.
were. Some of them were all right. And
No.
you know what? She says to you, prove to me that you're better than them. Tell me, which one of these ones are you closest with? Tell me something delicious. Give me a story.
Baltic, obviously.
Which one of your friends here do you know? This is do or die. It's you or them. What will you do for the family? What will you do for my reputation and the reputation of our house, your genetic line that will live on forever in you and whichever immortals you spawn. And Avarius, we're dealing with multiple immortals here versus 3 flitting creatures, lumps of meat that decompose within a century.
Right, so why are they of any interest to you? I mean, they're nothing. They're barely whelps.
Show me that you have the proper priorities, Andavarius. I need to know that you can make these hard decisions. You're a Golgari. You're going to have to make them.
Yeah.
Tell
Do
me
you want to know
something
about
nice.
Baltic? I mean, he's very strong, the strongest of us all.
And that's not very much to work with.
He just met.
Yeah.
He would make
know.
great
Oh,
meat
yeah.
for the farms. He's a big fellow.
What would you make up? Like, if you don't actually know me, what would you feed it?
Oh,
You
yeah.
can do a deception.
But I'm wondering, like, because much like an interrogator, that like he just doesn't have the answer. You feed false. Would he be able to feed false information?
The fact that you found it out without me having to say it means that yes, I can confirm it.
Okay.
If he is able to successfully deceive this creature into assuming a fear that you don't actually have, then you can actually rebuff it.
Nice.
He can
I
actually
really
support
don't know,
you.
so it should be pretty easy to me.
Say whatever you want then.
Yeah.
And Avarius, what lie do you tell?
I think he's afraid of being just overly competent and overly famous and just his ego getting out of control.
He's afraid that he'll get drunk
And
on power. addicted
and
like
lightning,
his
I
uncle.
believe, gives him a little fright as well. Thunder, loud noises, the color red as well. If you wave it about in front of him.
She leans over, puts a long finger under your chin and lifts it up, and she goes, "We might be able to make something of you yet." Whew. All right. If the information is of use to her, you will get a death save back. If not, she is coming at you with a vengeance. Who's next in line? Me! Baltic! All right. You are
Got one
looking
round.
at the stinger in your palm,
One death save left.
and all of a sudden that stinger is not a stinger anymore. Instead, it is a dose of the drug.
Oh.
It is as small as that stinger, just a little bit. But it killed your uncle. It's enough to kill you, surely. He was a better man. And so, as you look up from your palm, there he is. Your uncle is standing before you in his full uniform. Except the fact that he's in his full uniform actually does it a disservice, him and anyone associated with it. It is covered in vomit, in bile. He has soiled it with gutter water. He's urinated on himself. He is an absolute wreck. His muscles are... You can tell that the uniform was made for him when he was healthy, when he was something. Instead, that little drug in your palm has eaten him away to this twitchy kind of figure. And he looks at you.
Baltic, you think you're so much greater than I. You think you're more the man. You saw me as a shell. You saw me at the end only. When I was your age, I was twice the man. Take it. Take the dose. See what you become. See if you can surpass me. You think you can take it? You think you can do better? I lasted years. It ruins most slum dwellers. This form, this emaciated thing I wear, is a testament to my inner strength. You think you can do better? Come on, show me. Get drunk on it. I'm sure everyone else would take it for the sign it is. They'd see you, and they would lift you up. You're the one man in Ravnica who can beat addiction. You can ruin your body and be stronger in spirit for it. You would be the bright beacon of the Legion, the pure soul.
And as he
I
says
was gonna give
this,
him like an eyebrow a little bit, kind of like.
Yeah, he says this to you, and it is so revolting to see him like this, that this trail that he's trying to lead you on of, if you do what I did to myself, you could become this like super being. You could raise up beyond it. You can surpass limitations and be known by the Legion as like this angelic mortal. You're looking at it and going, no, there's no damn way. The false flag.
Yeah, I saw him get weak as, and like.
Wait, did you pass that or did you
Didn't
pass
roll anything?
the deception? Did you roll for that
I didn't
deception?
Oh no, he
You
didn't.
never asked me to
Okay,
roll.
that matters because I did it as if you passed
no, I
it.
forgot. Okay.
Shoot.
Roll, Mark.
I mean, I was pretty convincing, so.
You were.
You know what?
I'll roll.
Yeah, roll.
With advantage, because he was pretty convincing.
You know what? And I've already built this whole thing on
Yes,
it.
DM forgot, so we'll
DC will be 12.
It's not likely.
Advantage.
Come on, buddy.
I don't have advantage.
Come on, buddy.
I do have advantage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
And no
Because that's the
problem.
thing. You're in its thrall. It'll take this and test it, and if it doesn't work, it still has you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's willing to be deceived.
Yeah, it is. 13.
Alright. And I
He
can
has
interact
helped
in
you.
this realm, right?
Is it red as well?
In the dream realm,
Yeah.
yes, you can interact.
Then in that case, those, if you remember the javelins that make the wings on my back, they're coming out and I'm just throwing them right at him.
All right.
He murdered my dad and he's just this weak thing, the drug kid, that doesn't...
Yeah, so it offers what it thinks is a hook, line, sinker bait. You will take your own death willingly. You will be the one complicit in it. It'll not even have to dirty its hands. It sits there thinking of the way that it's undone and read your mind. And instead, Andavarius, little do you know, has planted this seed that has allowed you to go like, it is the thing that you hate most is what happened to him and what he did. Some inner part of you just rebels, grabs on, and it's not just like a wing, it takes on the symbolic symbol as you fight. You have given him advantage in his role to fight this thing.
Still not
All
gonna
right.
do it, here we go. Alright, where's my...
DC 15.
Actually, I'm gonna
Charisma.
borrow one of your d20s because mine are not always that good. I'm gonna do it over here. Oh, wait, what is it?
DC 15.
Oh, yeah,
and
what
his
is it?
charisma.
15.
Hey.
I don't know my charismas, but I know it's D's. Yeah,
yeah.
plus 2.
Nice.
Alright, that's cool.
Ooh.
You hit the
won't all
javelin straight into his chest, and that act, you didn't get to do that when it actually happened, when that thing was before you the first time around. It lightens you. You do feel a little bit more angelic, a little bit purer of heart this time around.
Nice.
It loses a grip on your mind. All right. Now, what's that?
Moss
Dogs.
dogs.
Yeah, because you're the last in the order. Moss
Yeah.
dogs.
Oh, man.
See if they
Instead
die or
of
not.
Grandpa Moss Dog, a different, alluring Moss Dog appears, and
Oh.
Mama Master.
What's it doing?
It's
you don't
dancing,
know. It's
obviously.
a Moss Dog.
It's really clutching its
They just seem
straws.
very confused. And they're all over
You know
the
what?
place.
Yeah, because the DC was 15,
Huh.
it's gonna go to like a third. No, I'll put it to a 12. I don't know
12?
what it's doing
Yeah,
to the Moss
So,
Dog.
so, it's
What kind of
so-
save?
so bad.
It's gonna be a Constitution. It's gonna be a
Okay.
Constitution. It's appealing to their baser desires. It is trying to just force them to have a heart attack and fall apart and lose a semblance
Sweet.
of themselves.
Alright, Moss
Okay.
dogs, let's see what you can do.
Nope. 7.
So, some alluring moss dog appears, and they kind of move towards it and disassemble themselves to become part and meld with sexy moss dog. To the crowd, if any of them were watching the moss dog
Somebody's
thing,
watching,
one
for sure.
dude out there is like, "This is exactly my kink." And they just see these moss dogs just crumble, and then where all of the moss dogs crumble, those legs kind of pull back in, and there's no fear, there's no mind for them to work on, so they just turn into little vestigial insectoid legs. Yeah. So that's what happens to the moss dogs.
Okay.
Now, Tink comes back around to you. So at first, it was your granny, and your granny will remain because you haven't actually beaten her.
Oh.
Alright.
Yeah, so
See if she can
she-
have any more.
yeah, she looks to you and says, "Now, Tink, I did say when we got into this that the reason I'm talking to you is because it's not just that I'm old. It's that you're making me feel my years, dear.
Well, you are old.
I
I
didn't
tell you that every
feel
day.
that way. Have you heard that saying, age is just a number?
Yeah, but Grandpa does say otherwise.
This is a pretty high number.
I know. I'm just saying because like Grandpa does say otherwise that you're very, very old every single day. He reminds you of your age. It's not me.
Your grandpa is a special case. I chose him. I didn't have him foisted on me. I married your grandfather, and I'll deal with his little witticisms and his jabs, but Tallulah, I need a favor from you, please. If you would just free me from the prison that your existence locks me in.
I don't stop you from doing anything though.
No? You don't
Yeah.
think I'd have better things to do than care for you? Fix you when you're burned? Fix your suit when it catches fire and gets holes and is torn up? Repair your Mizium rig so you don't die? Do you know how much that cost me? Do you know how many nights I've spent making it operational? How much of that thing do you think you actually had a hand in?
Do you know how many nights I've been walking around in the deep dark depths, in the pits of rubbish because you're too old to do that for Grandpa?
If a man
You don't
rubs a
appreciate
turd
that.
for 12 hours to try to polish it, do those hours amount to much?
You're not the one rubbing it. You just fix things. Grandmas are meant to help. That's what you're for.
If her
think
intelligence
this
is
is
low
a
enough, can she get
straight-
advantage on this?
I think
She's
this is a
really,
straight
oh yeah, no, she's
Yeah,
very
roll
dumb
for
when
it.
it comes to that stuff. And what is
Unless you guys think this could be a
Ah.
community. It's very subjective. I would say it's a straight roll.
Yeah. I was almost thinking like do I know why her and Grandpa got married?
Yeah,
And
because they were polar opposites.
Yeah.
Because no one could stop her in terms of a magical contest. No Staticaster was better in her day, but some little map maker came out and stood up to her
Yeah,
in the middle of a firestorm that burned up and electrocuted everyone in their homes and went, cut that out!
Yeah.
And she was attracted to the strength of character. He is as strong at his core as she is with her magic.
So if I try and channel like my grandpa and try and like just be like, cut that out, and like try and like just act like grandpa instead of her,
Do a
like
history
almost
check.
think about it, yeah.
Do a history check if you can.
18 plus, and then my history's pretty good. I'll get it now. But so I need to stop basically Tink is thinking I need to stop thinking of Granny
21.
as my inspiration. I need to think 21. I need to think of Grandpa as my role model.
So, you might be thinking of this one way and why it might work. The reason why it's actually working is because while it's trying to penetrate into your mind, you are actually recollecting an entirely different personality and bringing it to the forefront of your mind. So now there are two that it's trying to get between. And the one is kind of like putting a distorting, it's like having two movies on top of each other and trying to understand the one behind.
I'll have like the maps around me and like Grandpa kind of like coming in to be like, stop doing that to Tink.
Yeah, so as you start thinking of your grandpa and how he would have, you know, some word that would stop your grandma from getting too harsh to you, and he always was there to be like, "Brr, you're okay."
Yeah.
Your grandpa inadvertently ends up being the mind that this thing starts reading the fears of, and so it starts reading the fears of your grandpa, and so it shows like all of a sudden this abstraction of an inkwell falling on a freshly made map happens, and your grandpa's just like, "Oh dear!" But he actually like fights it because your grandpa in your mind, and the
It's
reason
strong.
why he married your grandma is because he was so strong of character. You are having a proxy war with the fear creature through your grandpa's memory spirit.
This is so sweet.
So
I like
all
this
of a
actually.
sudden-
I'm learning more about my grandpa.
Yeah.
And like actually learning about him
You
because he
almost-
doesn't talk very much.
You almost have this out-of-body experience where all of a sudden it was really personal, and then you're just watching your grandma and your grandpa fight again, and you're like, huh. All right.
I'm feeling how they both feel in this moment. I like that.
You definitely saved it. I will give you advantage on this one.
Thank you.
So, go for this one's
And
gonna be.
charisma or what is it?
This one is a
Or
charisma saving throw.
intelligence?
DC 17.
13 plus 5. That's 17, isn't it? Yeah.
8.
18.
18. Oh, and
Natural 20!
Hey!
Oh.
Thank God!
25.
Someone else is out!
All right. With a natural 20, when your grandpa and grandma get involved, and it starts reading a different mind, and it is the idealized memory of a human, so it doesn't actually have any of their internal flaws for it to read off of, you put like a spectral guardian in its way, and it completely throws it off, and your grandpa kind of snaps his back as he stands up to like his full height, and your granny's the same size, and she just starts growing like long teeth, kind of doing that rapid impulse of shape changing. He goes, "You know what? Just cut it out." And it loses 2 grit points.
Yes.
Did it lose 1 grit point against you already?
I'm gonna run up and hug Grandpa and just be like so happy, especially because like I don't see any negatives of Grandpa. I think he's a wonderful guy.
You haven't gotten to that age where your parents stop being gods and become people.
Yes.
Your grandpa is still a god.
Oh yeah,
So,
he is amazing.
just as the creature is about to be forced out, you go and mentally run to your grandpa, who goes, "You're not all bad, kiddo.
No.
They're there." And then he disappears, and you are on the sand in the blood crypt, looking at this kind of cracking.
Oh, God.
It's crumbling. It's like falling apart. It's graying out. It's losing its color. Its malleability, and the leg actually snaps and kind of breaks and tumbles into the dirt. You hear the sound of the crowd. This crowd is still very much on your side. The crowd is looking and going, "What are the maiden? What are the maiden? Oh my God!" Somebody stands up and is just like, "She was the first! I won against the house! Lowest odds! Fuck yeah! I'm a rich man!"
Where's my wedding?
He did not suspect that you would be the first one to get out.
Like,
So
where's
this
my
guy's just like, I'm ruined.
I swear I made a bet on this one.
The dread slag in the middle of the arena, kind of making this weird pantomime to your friends who are all frozen in front of it.
Oh God.
That was your turn. As of
And then-
afterwards,
yeah.
you'll get to act. So that goes from Tink to
Me.
Zarelia.
Before that tries to go for me again, while I still have some wits about me, I'm gonna just grab Andovarius's hand to kind of give him a little bardic
I don't
inspiration.
think you can.
I can literally
You can't?
move.
Oh yeah, you
I
can't
can't
interact
even
in the real
point.
realm.
Oh,
You're
no?
basically
Yeah.
yeah, you froze.
But
It's all
thanks.
mental.
Oh.
No, it's horrible.
But you can think about me and try.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you can actually try and
All right.
think about Andy.
What would
How
a
strong he is.
romantic feeling check be? Or how do you feel towards Andovarius? Is it friendship? Is
For
that what-
matters of the heart, I would say
Always
medicine.
War.
It is
It is.
romantic.
Yeah.
what would that role be?
Religion.
How about
survival?
It, just
Animal
be,
handling.
it could just be like a.
Oh my God, animal handling was so
Yeah.
well for Andy.
Sorry, I had to.
Hold
Great.
on. It should definitely be based on charisma.
I was
Mhm.
thinking charisma.
Performance, I think. He used to always watch her when she was performing on the tightrope.
Do a performance check for me, Zarelia.
Nice.
Yeah, because you were like literally in the market,
Yeah.
always staring up at
Oh,
her.
yeah, I'd watch her all the time for hours. Just try to sell my mushrooms.
26.
God.
Oh my.
As you're looking at your father who gets stunned and kind of trips over himself, you look at this loveless thing in front of you, and you it went into your mind, and when you tripped it up, you actually felt into its as well. The personality that it's summoned up, it kind of fills out, and the creature itself is mindless and loveless, and the thing that it's brought to fight you on these grounds has no actual beachhead on them. It can't talk to you about how loved you are or how people are going to look at you going forward. Instead, you conjure up this image of Andovarius, the one who kind of came to bat for you when Hewitt came for you the first time, and he turned to smoke. He was willing to go out there, risk it, fight. He cut himself for you.
The only person who's ever stuck up for me.
Yeah. So you
Do it every time.
You think fondly of Andavarius, and you kind of realize that whatever weaknesses you might have, whatever fears this thing might be able to prey on, certainly if you're with him and he's with you and you continue to have each other's backs, even if one of you are afraid, it can't get both of you. You guys would make a great team. You guys would complement each other very wholly and become two halves, while flawed, a perfect unity.
No.
As
Aw.
can so often happen. All these lovely little miracles that happen all over the world all the time, that you just kind of realize it in the face of this thing. And it's going to give you advantage as it tries to attack you on exactly that spot where you're thinking of. And it's desperate. It's going, Zarelia, do you really think anyone is going to care for you deeply? I'm the only one who actually likes you, despite the fact that I don't fall for your charms, and I know how bad you smell, and I know how far
Shut
you
up.
have to go.
You're
Zarelia,
full of shit.
You have a long life to live despite being half
Yes,
human.
and I will live it. With Andovarius.
How do you know
Oh, man.
that it's not just your sweat, something that I gave you that magically compels him to fall in love with you like everyone else? How do you know?
Look at you. You're going crazy.
I may be crazy, but at least I can face hard truths. He doesn't feel anything for you. Nothing real. It's just a trick. It is a part of your body that makes him feel that way, just like it makes everyone else feel that way. You've charmed
He
him.
is immune to charms, Daddy-o.
Are you?
Half elf.
Oh, yeah! Wow, that's an actual wallop.
Yeah. Plus,
Does
I
the
was
dress
about
like
to say,
that?
Not technically immune, but still pretty good.
Oh yeah. Plus, he literally ripped off her forehead and was still like attracted to her. So he's seen her ugliest.
I would
Touche.
say.
How'd you even pick up?
Have you beaten him once before? Yes. You
Yes, yeah.
did. Does anyone think that that would count as an at 20?
I think that would if the it was. I mean,
It's up to you.
How did you know? Were you looking at his sheet or something?
No, I just
Actually-
remembered he said it before.
actually-
Oh my God.
I would say if Andy's little trickery thing worked in a way that gave me advantage because it didn't know my real fear or it was wrong, I would at least give her advantage or give it like an at 20 or something because that sounds.
It was important to her because she wanted to know that his feelings were real, so she remembered him saying that.
Sweet.
Oh.
You have love on your side.
That's actually exactly what I was looking for in this fight.
Oh.
Is a little thing like that. Cool. You tell him that, and again, it's just trips on itself, and his face falls off. The thing begins to
Oh.
crumble, and you kind of almost stumble as you are standing in the sand of the blood crypt. And the leg in front of you is crumbling, and as it falls, you can see that leaning against the railing above, watching, clued in only on you, and you can see that there is a tear there. Your father is crying as he looks down into the pit, and as soon as the thing breaks, he just gets up and turns around.
That's too bad. I'll bow.
Well done. Who's next?
And Novaria.
Andavarius.
Mm-hmm.
Can't die
The mother.
now. Oh my God.
The mother has that finger under your chin, and she goes, well, let's see if we can make something of you yet. And then as the eyes kind
for you.
of roll back and flutter a little bit, she goes, your spineless and low treachery. Spinelessness and low treachery do not become one of my offspring. But you know how I feel about you. You need to hear this from someone else. I've said it a dozen times. He needs to actually speak what's on his mind. And she collapses in on herself, and Richard appears in front of you. He says,
Ah!
Oh no.
my boy,
Don't fall for it.
get up off the ground. What are you doing? Get off your knees. What the fuck is wrong with
I
you?
don't think I know exactly what's going on anymore. Mother was just here, and now it's you. Are we here to go? Are we ready to leave?
No. And Various. No, not this time. Do you know how many times I have had to put out my neck for you to make sure that your mother didn't have you disappear in some quiet, dignified way? And now, I come to see you here, in front of all of these people, and you're groveling in the sand.
I guess so. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I've ashamed you or anything. We're just... I don't know what's come over me, but...
And Various, you need to realize at some point that while your mother speaks of the family name, you are shaming yourself. Doesn't that matter to you? That you're... And Various, you make me upset that you are half human. You're giving us a bad name.
Whoa, just wait on a minute. I mean, I think I've learned pretty good from you, and I know I have a long way to go, but I'm making good strides, especially for my age. I mean, taking pretty good control of the farms, and the farms are going well, and my crops are growing nicely.
And Various, if you died right here, right now, what would happen to the farms? What would happen? Tell me. It's a simple question.
Suppose they would just continue as...
They would continue being tended by the servants, the people who we take from the gutter, who are on death's door, and we give them a little bit of food, and they can grow a mushroom.
But you know they don't grow them like I do.
Oh, well done. You know that the walls of the caves, you know that the puddles of piss and shit, they grow mushroom too. All by themselves. Nobody needs to tend it. They grow all on their own. And Various, what are you doing with your life? What is your plan for the future? I've heard you talk of lichdom for some reason. What do you plan to do with eternity if you're going to farm?
Well, I haven't quite figured it all yet. I mean, I've just barely left the house, and I've just finally found a place where I'm kind of doing important things. I mean, I don't know where it will go, but surely it could be something.
And as soon as they're not forcing you, as soon as your mother and I don't arrange for you to get into this group and have them drag you around to do important things, what then? When no one is telling you how to be a good man, what will you be?
I mean, you've taught me to be a good man, and that's who I intend to be. I'll follow in your footsteps, and maybe provide you with the undead that Vraska requires and all that, and maybe become someone like a general or something of maybe a small undead group. It's not so bad.
And the Various, even your dreams are sad.
I know.
Can I start playing? Like, can I move now? Could I start playing music to hope that he can hear it?
That, is it a bonus action? Because you used your action.
Oh, right. No.
Yeah.
If it's bonus action stuff?
Well, bardic inspiration would be.
Only if you're free.
Yeah, I
from
gave
the-
you
Oh,
bardic
you are free.
inspiration.
Do you have a bonus action? Okay.
I can change
So
one of my.
you guys might get to do something.
I can change one of my spells into a bonus action, and would you say doing like a message to Andy
Is it
be like a
that's
good
a good
thing
idea.
to do? Yeah, I can change it to a bonus action.
You can
'Cause
change
of
it
my-
to. Okay.
Yeah, because my quickened spell.
Okay. So.
With my meta magic, I can change something into a quickened spell, and then
Awesome.
it becomes a bonus action. So
Now, out of curiosity, I do want to see what Zarelia would do because she is kind of keyed into Endoverse. There was just a thing there.
absolutely.
So, what was your idea?
I was just
'Cause
gonna
you
start
have-
playing that song that we were all playing together in the beginning, so that he kind of remembers how good of a team we are and how well we were performing. So he kind of gets can hear that and remember that we're here for him and stuff for
Nice.
whatever is going on in his head.
And that's a bardic inspiration?
Yeah.
Awesome. You immediately, as soon as it crumbles and your father turns from you, you just start playing again. You just, as if nothing happened. You just kind of brush it off, and keep playing, as if your heart wasn't about to give out under your brain's control. That music carries it.
Yeah.
It's like this pathway that makes it so much easier for the message to get there, because normally you'd be sending a magical message like to his brain, which is kind of either way, like, you're able to kind of pierce the veil with a message.
Awesome
She's
teamwork.
got him backed
get
up
awesome.
as this
Yeah.
kind of
I'll be
swelling comes to buoy his mind as his father just kind of lays into him. How are you helping? What message are you sending
Well,
to
I'll
him?
be listening to the song, and then like whatever we're singing, like the little tune, I'll be singing that.
Oh, so
in my
her
head,
humming comes through
so
and
that
like
at least like then the humming sound comes through, and if he's hearing a hum, normally it's then easier to hear what the song is outside of the bubble that you're in.
Oh, it's like sharpening a point in
Yeah.
a picture so your eyes are drawn to it.
So you come to in the sand, and then you hear that song play again. You look at Zarelia, just consummate professional. Water off a duck's back. The show must go on. And you just... You start doing the same thing, and it's that chorus again coming in.
I just hear that
You
echoing
guys-
lightly in my dream state. What's that? Where's that coming from?
Whatever your father might be saying to you,
That's
he might
Zarelia
be
playing.
denigrating you as a man, but what you've
And
done
Tink.
as a
Is that Tink?
team counts
There's more
for
than
something.
just me out here. And you're not my father. My father would never say such things. He never wanted me to amount to anything. He just wanted me to be a good son. That's all he expected from me. Who are you?
That's
There
the
it
tact
is.
I wanted. You were going a wonky way with it. I'm like, oh, the dream was so sad. And
This is a
then,
bad place.
and then
Just having a rough go.
the team comes through. You're able to get a little bit of space to think. And
did it.
this thing that's wrenching your heart out of your chest, you realize that the reason it's so painful is because it's coming from a place that it shouldn't. Your father doesn't have the same ambitions for you that your mother had. He wants you to be happy. That's what he's always wanted for you. He's just been there. He's just loved you because you're you. And that doesn't change.
Oh, I gotta cry.
Aw.
You have advantage. You have bardic inspiration. And the DC is lowered.
Should be.
DC 15. Advantage with bardic?
I don't
Really?
need to roll.
What's that?
I don't have to roll the bardic.
Oh! Would you?
No. I rolled a 1 and a 2.
No! How many death saves did you have?
2.
Two death saves down?
Yeah.
You had the.
Avarius.
Can I throw myself in front of him?
No. Oh my god.
And Avarius, you hear your friends kind of give you that space in your head to think. And you realize you're not my father. My father just wanted me to be me, wanted me to be happy. And this thing kind of reels away shocked for a moment before the features relax and your father is there. And he says, "Well done, my boy. You knew me, as I know you. I'm not long for this world, you know. I tell you often enough that I'm going to die a lot earlier than you. But in the same way that people living forever, the time really means nothing. Our death doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things either. We are Golgari after all."
I'll see you in my second life. And just put my hands on his shoulder and put my head to his head.
I'll see you there too, son. And
We just see like Andy.
Avarius's heart, of his own volition, of pure joy, shuts itself off. He is with his father, at least in his mind.
My head out.
And Avarius to
Yeah.
Baltic. In front of you, after your uncle, his body is skewered, from the crumpled pile of rags rises a much stronger kind of minotaur. And stands on its hind legs, takes its full height, and you see your father before you.
You're dead. You should know better, son. The Legion lives forever. The Odrune is a bloodline, a never-ending chain of honor, duty, and responsibility. We never die, so long as the torch is borne by one of us. And where have you brought that torch of ours? To the darkest place where the light is needed most. You have been misled, Baltic. You've been led into a trap with honeyed words and cheap trickery. These ploys have lured you in. What is your nickname? What is your entertainer's moniker? What name do the announcers have for you here in the pits before the audience cheers you on? Sinstalker. That is what the Rakdos cheer for, isn't it? When you come down here to bring your torch of justice waving around in the pit. This is a place of fire, and you've only added to it. There is a reason for why we do things. You think you know better? Then generation after generation after generation of the most strategic minds that this world has produced. There is a reason we act the way we do, Baltic. There's a reason we react to incursions of demons. Because the evil has boiled over. It is affecting the innocent who we save. You coming here to their stronghold. You fight their demons in their circus arenas. People pay to see you do this. You fill their coffers as you dissipate mana that regenerates as you do so. You didn't think that there was something odd about you fighting the same creatures over and over again while the faces in the audience changed? People came to see you, Rakdos performer. You are not of the Legion. You are not Boros anymore.
What?
When I decided to go down this path, I knew that people like you would not enter the graveyard where the sin needed to be stocked because you did not die inside. But I did long ago, and that's why I don't fear death anymore. For only the dead can enter the graveyard and fight the demons that need to be fought. So I might not be Boros or like you. I am what I need to be.
Sheer will. Security in oneself. Lights a torch in this mental space. Go ahead and roll. DC is lowered. 14.
Or 19 plus, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, first time. His last death save.
It loses a grip point. It has one left, I believe.
Yes.
So's Baltic. He's gonna die pretty soon, I think.
God.
To Tink. What do you do, Tink?
So now I can injure this and attack this creature.
You see the creature in the physical realm as a physical form.
Okay.
Its hold over you is no longer there. You can
Is-
either try to help him
Is it
mentally
like
or...
putting out arms or whatever towards him, or can I see what kind of like
You can
because
s-
one of the arms broke when I
Two of its arms are
so
broken. Yeah.
So then can I guess which one is his one then?
Absolutely.
Just
It's got a
specifically-
weird, like, paper mache puppet version of his father.
Okay, cool.
Kind
then,
of
yeah.
Dangling off the end of it.
I am going to. I'm gonna do. So would like a acid or fire thing be best? Because what is the creature I made
You
out
can do a nature check to see if you can determine.
of? Okay, cool.
Oh, cocked as hell.
13 plus, and then 1 second. Sorry.
Acid would be better than fire. You know that much.
Cool.
Cool.
And nature plus 3, 16.
Nice.
Cool.
So then acid, I'm gonna do chromatic orb at what level can I do it at? I can do it at level 3. So
Do it.
plus 5 to hit.
12.
natural 20 plus 5.
Man, you're getting a
So
lot
then
of
that's-
those.
I love these dice now. But to be fair, last time they were terrible, so I got 10d8.
10d8?
Yeah, because it's
I was like, can you do 50 damage?
Oh, yeah.
Try it.
You could.
Roll 10d if you've got some
Yeah, you have
way of
D8.
rolling them all rapid
I've
fire.
got them
Yeah,
on
do it.
D&D Beyond.
No,
22 plus 22.
44
44.
damage.
44 damage on that arm.
You splash acid in this torrent over it, and it just starts to squeal. It's making this like awful screeching, and not all of it is it's like multiple mouths vocalizing, but when like acid goes onto certain things, it like as it like squeals under the heat and the transformation, you scorch this thing. It is limping. It has fallen to the ground, and the paper mache self kind of like blinks and falters. You're
I'll
going to
have my,
actually
like-
help him out.
Cool. I'll have my like lightning of my missing rig just going chaotic right now as well. As if like I'm still having that power high. Like I'm still going off of that, and like it almost looks like it's kind of happening still, but it's not happening. It's just like in my mind it looks even cooler.
I would say that you feel
Yeah.
pretty damn confident
Oh, yeah.
right now.
Cool.
And we go to Zarelia. What would you like to do before he does his final challenge, one way or the other, with his father?
I'm gonna kneel down and check Andovarius's vitals to see if he's okay. I'm going to try to give him CPR, I guess, and try to breathe life back into him somehow.
Do a medicine check.
$15.
With a 15, you know that your medicine check is ineffectual here. You pump away, trying to get something back, you try magic, you try what you can. It's a body in the sand.
Okay. Is that my action?
No. I wouldn't think so. I would think that as you kind of do use it as a bonus action, you do a couple things and you realize it is not that it's not just that he's had like cardiac arrest. He has given up this mortal coil. His soul might be willing to come back once he realizes he's effectively been duped into killing himself, but
There's some shamans.
because you
or
can,
something.
there are resurrection spells and things like that.
Oh, okay.
There's some dark shit down here. I think we can find some.
Yeah.
Like find out where the
After
souls are
realizing
stored.
that, I'm going to be completely filled with anguish and rage, and I'm going to head over to the monster there, and I'm just going to start shrieking and cast Shatter on it at 4th level. So, yes, I will just start screeching and...
Can you do a screech?
No. No thanks. Zarelia can, but not me.
Is it a saving throw?
It is a Constitution saving throw. Sorry, the
Is it
DC
12?
is 15.
Oh.
All right. You scream, and just as you hurt this creature, her cry of anguish seems to rejuvenate it, seems to bring it back, and it, one of its limbs kind of faces towards her, takes the form of like a Andovarius, like this parody, but then this scream kind of does a bit much, and it starts like sprouting all of these different facets of fear and rage and anger. It is taking in the depth of the emotion she feels is so unassailable that it gives it no actual release. It can't do anything with it, and it actually just starts to kind of pop and burst beyond its own shell. This thing drinks fear and shame and sadness, and it has had its fill. And it explodes and dies. Along with the altar and the carcass of the Sire of Insanity, the arena itself just kind of explodes out the middle. The walls crack and shatter. The implements of torture and these playthings, as they are called, begin to drop from the ceiling.
Cover the body.
Oh yeah, I'm walking over to you just to like not even touch you because I know you have all your scars and stuff, but I'll like just be next to you.
Yeah. After I exploded, I just fall to the ground, weeping.
I'll stand up over you, trying to be a little bit strong for you, waiting for you to wake up from your trance.
So it's dead now?
It is dead. Baltic, you shake your head, and you see utter devastation in the center of this blood crypt. The thing is gutted. There is a magically burned maw. The sand at the edge of this crater is burned to glass. Yeah. This place has been ruined. There will be no fun. There will be no games to watch here for some time yet.
What's happening with the audience and stuff?
The audience is slack-jawed in awe. This is a fight that they watch, and they get to enjoy someone's humiliation before they die. And normally that kind of humiliation that's suffered generates a certain vengeance in the people down there. The fact that audience people, other strangers out there, know their deepest, darkest fears doesn't breed a lot of friendship in the people in that pit. Or at least that's the thinking, if anyone actually survived, that they throw into the Dread Slag. Now, 3 of you people, who are both prime physical specimens and pure of soul, hard of heart, and focused, sharp mind, you 3 look up at this audience, and they are afraid, as they are excited. They are terrified of what you guys are.
What about Hugh? Is Hugh here?
Hewitt is there,
Oh,
and he is looking at Andavarius's body, and he looks at Zarelia, and just for her, he doesn't actually flash it to any of the workers, but he flashes his little card of paid services that are available, and then puts it on his lap again. So, there is a silence as the audience is terrified of what you could do to them, but it's also exhilarating. It's a thing that hasn't happened. And in that, they can't help but applaud your showmanship. You have put on a show like no other. They throw food in the air, coins aplenty. You can see that they are just clamoring. They are, some of them, it was raining before because of Andavarius, and now they cut and they spill the blood from their veins to rain upon you once more. They are enraptured with the fungal 3. But that's Ravnica for you. And that's where we'll leave it for tonight.
Whoa.
Well done.
Good one.
Oh my god.
If you guys like what you saw here today, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Helps us a whole lot. We are getting started, so
Thank you for
Thanks so
joining
much.
our therapy session.
thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.